Hey guys, so having this camera for quite some time, having the PYXIS 6K, I really got to know this camera, how to work with it, what worked, what didn't, and really built it out in a way that kept this camera package light enough that it could be handheld, but beefy enough to be able to use in production situations. And honestly, I couldn't be happier with the way that it's set up. Now, I know the PYXIS 12K, same exact body, some new nuances. Obviously, the important one is the sensor. You've got the USB-C in the back that you can use as an additional output to another monitor. But ever since I got the PYXIS monitor with this and upgraded this, it's been just such a phenomenal package. Really happy I got this camera. Wanted to share some of the things that really works with this camera, at least for me, and just share those nuances if maybe you're looking how to kind of get this camera in different ways working for you, and going from a light setup to a heavier duty setup. So first things first, if you'll notice, I have a side handle. Most of my cameras I have a side handle. I do love handheld, and me having that side handle and then this kind of bottom touch point here that I can grab while I'm shooting is really, really nice. And then the other touch point is going to be against my chest just to keep it as steady as possible. As far as autofocus goes, I've talked about this PD Movie LiDAR, and it's been phenomenal. I've been using it since the first generation. It's been great. It's a lot cheaper than the DJI, and it actually works amazingly well. So that's kind of like the big things I deal with when I'm dealing with handheld. To keep it a little bit lighter, I'm using a basic battery back here and not the V-mount setup, but putting in the V-mount, part of the things why I avoided it and didn't really love it, I didn't like any of the solutions for the back of this camera. It was all these V-mount plates that didn't really go flush against the back, and if you take this off, you'll see what I mean. We've got all these SDIs here that end up getting covered, and then you can't really use it. So, for me, I just basically got something to work, and it's really, really simple. So the basic solution for me was just basically this really kind of narrow Nitze backplate that I was using. Why did I choose to use this? I'll explain in a second. So to be able to adjust this and kind of flip-flop it and move it around if I need to, I'll show you exactly what it takes. So with this Nitze rail, I put in an extra piece here, which is a really shortened 15 millimeter rail. So you can get these 15 millimeter rails, short ones in different sizes as well, but I'll show you how that goes kind of on. So I only have one rail back here, not two. So if I go in, slide this guy in, if you'll notice on the back plate itself, I have a little bit of a groove, which is what I use to balance out. Now it's not 100% necessary, but for me, it's that extra added kind of security I have here on this rail, and then I can also mount something. So if you see here, you've got this kind of sitting on here. So you see that little rail there, I can pull that out, take out my cards, do whatever, bring that in. But as far as power getting in the way or anything getting in the way for this camera, it's not in the way at all. And I'll show you what it looks like with like a basic battery. Now this was the VMOUNT battery. I really love this battery. It's lasted a long time. The reading on it is quite perfect, to be honest. So this way I know exactly how much I have left. I'm assuming the 12K takes a lot more than this one does. So when it comes to the 12K, obviously you're going to need battery power. I'm not sure, from what I'm hearing, these don't even last that long, or your smaller size ones are like a half hour or so. I can't even foresee using that unless I'm going and just doing some pickup shots and some B-roll, and I have that all planned out. But anyway, so let me just show you what the clearance looks like now. So this is it with the battery on the back. As you can see, I'll lift it up to get this in focus. There is complete clearance there, and it fits. So just to show you where the power comes from. It comes from here. I hook it up to the Nitze in the back. So the power cable just clips right in there. I typically wrap the cable around to make it nice and clean. Bring this back and then hook it up here. Now I still have some ports open here, USB-C, and also my D-tap over here that I can use if I wanted a secondary monitor. So one thing I wanted to mention was the audio itself. So can you plug in an audio device, something like a DJI system? And yes, you can. As far as the headphone jack, I would say you can hook it up to whatever receiver you have it in, or you can move the battery back a little bit and also fit that. The caveat is you want to use an L-shaped adapter so you can keep that battery flush. And you can always use the audio, the mini XLR to regular XLR if you're doing it that way as well, which is, you know, important in certain situations. But for now, I'm keeping all the power to the camera and to the monitor itself. And this is pretty much it. This is the package that I would go with when I'm dealing with production days. And I can always put a double battery back here if need be. I really like this base like plate here. And what I like about it is it gives me a little bit of an adjustment, not a ton because the way that I have this set up, but balanced enough for these type of lenses. You can always kind of play around with it and get it further back, or depending where you're putting your base plate, it works. And then I can just lock that in and then I'm good to go. So if I want to send video out to Video Village, or just to have a client see what we're shooting and what we're doing, I added all these things to be able to help me with that. Let me just unlock that. So now you can see kind of how I have the back set up here, and I can bring that up, give me more clearance here. I can, you know, turn this around and have it facing up if need be. I like it nice and neat, but you know, you can choose to do whatever you want. And again, that could be something like that. And I've got my transmitter. It's really good to go. And everything is very well thought out. This now I can hook up right to the V-mount using this D-tap cable. This goes into here. I do have a locking version of this. And then that goes into the other side over here. So, you know, it makes my life easier. And this is really, really a nice kind of approach. If I don't need any of these things, I can just disconnect my handle, and then I won't have this, and I'm still good to go. I'll still have my follow focus on there. And then again, if I want to strip this all down, this comes off, the handle comes off, this side handle comes off, and I have a really, really kind of tight, small package here, which I think works extremely well. Or I can just go back to this to use it more for handheld. Other than that, I think to me, this has worked and has been the best solution. Okay, so let's do a little breakdown of the cost associated with all the parts, including the camera, just to get a better idea. Because the reality is, I think sometimes me, you, everybody, we seem to overspend on rigging cameras sometimes with unnecessary items. Things that are just come out and they're new and they're super expensive and might not do the purpose, you know, a great thing because you're paying way too much for it. Try to look for deals that obviously if something's been around and is tried and true, go with that as opposed to going with something brand new with the technology's just kind of a micro jump. This will save you a lot of money in the long run. And again, always keep in mind that these items, regardless, you'll be able to use on other cameras as well, especially if you're, you know, whether you're using SDI, HDMI, audio stuff will be what it's going to be. So that's my recommendation. This camera is not light. It's not, because I have the FX3 kind of set up very similar to this. And the weight of this is maybe slightly lighter than I would say, you know, the original kind of Ursa G2, which was a very heavy camera after you build it out. So it's not super light. Again, to me, it doesn't bother me. I can use some sort of stabilization. Too long with that actually hurts my back as well. So I try to, you know, keep this thing on stabilized situations. But again, whether you have the 6K or the 12K, all of these things will work. Of those details, and leave links. Again, you know, if you're interested and you want to get it and it's going to help you kind of, you know, build out your kit and keep it a certain way, keep it as light as possible. You can still use this stuff with a cage, I'm assuming, as well. You could probably mount something in the back of a cage with this, which works as well too. I just try to keep it as simple and as light as possible. And really, as far as the cage goes, there is no cage, just a top plate, and then the side plate I got actually from Blackmagic for the handle. And that's, you know, that's pretty much it for this camera. You know, when you take the lens off and the battery, you know, it's back to its box self, but that's not how we're using this camera. We are kitting this camera up because it's a necessity. It's something we need to do. Thanks, guys. And if you have any questions regarding this camera, and if you have any questions about any of the accessories that go on this camera, please feel free to leave a comment below and I will try to reach out to you as soon as I can. Again, this build works really, really well for what it is, and I think it might work well for you. And again, the cost is decent to kind of build this out this way. So thanks, guys. I will talk to you in the next one.